Meagan, thanks so much for joining us here on the Extra Hour.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Look, this latest ROC drug scandal, it is the biggest story out of Beijing for sure. We're seeing so many former Olympians like yourself reacting all over social media. So what has it been like just to see the reaction all around?
You know, I'm so proud of my teammates that have been standing up and taking a stance and advocating for clean sport. There's kind of a group of retired figure skaters that we've kind of done this without even communicating with each other. I feel really, really deeply impacted by this decision. I feel so much empathy for the athletes that are competing and supporting clean sport. I feel a lot of empathy for the athletes that are having their medals and medal ceremonies removed from them. And there's just no winners. There's no winners right now.
How do we use these social media platforms? Because like you said, lots of athletes are reacting, not only figure skaters, like how do we use these platforms to create positive change now?
That's what I've tried to do, especially since retiring 4 years ago. And we are given a large audience, a lot of us through social media, and it's given us a platform to speak for what we believe in and to kind of like take a stance against something. And I'm really proud to join the fellow athletes that have chosen to do that. I hope that by doing so, we are putting more attention on what's happening. We are putting it into the spotlight. We're not kind of like pushing it underneath the rug. I think that the more people that talk about it, that's the only way change will happen. Change doesn't happen when we just brush it off and forget about it. So the more of us jumping on that bandwagon, and social media is a way that we can do it because of our large platforms.
Well, certainly the IOC and the decision makers are feeling a lot of pressure just in seeing the reaction, the response, right, Alex?
No, of course. And I mean, and this time, once again, it's the ROC, it's Russia in this specific situation. But I think your message, Meagan, if I'm right, and as former athletes, we just want clean sports. That's all we want because we were both former athletes and clean athletes as well.
Alex, I'm sure you remember when you were competing, there were times you're sick and you just won't take anything because you're so scared. You don't want to take any smoothie. You don't want to take any supplement. You don't want to take any vitamin because you're so worried about what might be in it. And we're so diligent about that. And I think that I advocate for clean sport. It doesn't matter where the athlete's from. If this situation was happening to an athlete in North America, I would be fighting the same fight. I would be standing my ground in the same way.
No, I'm glad you said that, right? This isn't about Russia specifically. This is about clean sport overall. There's so many layers to this situation. There, of course, was a very quick response in Beijing here regarding Valieva, whereas someone like American skater Jessica Callalang, who tested positive for a banned drug found in cosmetics, most popular in shampoos, had her pre-Olympic preparations completely derailed because it took nearly a year to come to a decision. She didn't make the U.S. Olympic team, of course. The unfair reality is that being a 15-year-old skater like Valieva, the rules were different for her. And there's always someone or a group looking to exploit rules that have loopholes.
Yeah, and this is something that to a lot of us, at least in the figure skating world, I can speak for a large group of us, we did not know that there was a different ruling with WADA for athletes under 16. I would like to think that children under 16 are protected even more in terms of banned substances and drugs, not having kind of an easier way out of it. So it's been really difficult for me going to work with young skaters the last 2 days. And how do you explain this to them? How do you explain to a young skater, well, it's okay if you're under 16 and you take a banned substance? We can't do that. I can't morally do that to skaters. And I think that, a change that may come out of this is an increase in the age limit requirements for the sport of figure skating, that there will no longer be anybody under 16 competing.
I'm glad you're touching on that. Like you're a coach now, and you're also an Olympic medalist, but you have kids in front of you, right? And what does this whole situation, what's the message we're taking away from this, even for you as a coach, but also for the younger generation coming up?
I hope it's not going to teach them that you can walk around the rules and find a way to get around the rules. I even think of my young child. I have a 2-year-old, and I know she's really young, but she just loves everything about skating. And for sure, she's going to want to do this one day. It's such a big part of her life. And I I'm going to need to be very careful about the people that will surround her when she's a child, the coaches, the doctors, the support team. I think it's going to bring a lot more awareness to the people surrounding athletes at a young age now, because as we know, Valieva is in a very vulnerable position at the age of 15. And it's likely that this wasn't something that she did herself.
And, once again, as former athletes, we've both been on Olympic podiums. You're an Olympic champion yourself. Now, some of those skaters will not get their moment on the podium because that was the decision made, of course, in this particular case. What do you think about that? I mean, for me, that doesn't sit well.
For me, it's almost the worst part, I think. To me, it's what breaks my heart. I think of these athletes. The team event has already happened. It's already been completed. The original results were the Russian Olympic Committee, US, and Japan. This was history for Japan. Japan has won their first team medal in figure skating. Japan also makes commemorative stamps of all their Olympic medalists. And now the team figure skating event is not getting those commemorative stamps sent throughout Japan because there's no picture of the team on the podium. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I think robbing clean athletes that played fair of this moment is absolutely wrong. And I'm so disappointed that that was the decision that was made.
No, understandably so. It's a decision that's made in a boardroom, oftentimes by people that haven't not been in the experience that you and Alex have to realize what it is they're taking away from those athletes. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I've talked to some of those athletes, and the comments I'm getting from them is, I guess I'm going to get my Olympic medal from a FedEx box. That's not the moment. They pushed through such difficult time. Everybody has pushed through such difficult times in these last 2 years. For a lot of these athletes, standing on that podium and celebrating with their teammates, celebrating with their country is their reward for all of that. So I just feel so heartbroken for every single one of them that's having that moment taken away from them, because that's their Olympic moment.
Meagan, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today and to talk to us about this. We love cheering for you and seeing you on those podiums, and it's been great to catch up with you today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you thought that was great, wait till we're all sleep deprived on day 8. Follow the extra hour on CBC Sports. Follow it. Follow. Where is it? Is it there?